Broken can mean many things, usually referring to something becoming inoperative. However, in Valorant terms, it usually means something that is overpowered or is too strong for the game. There have been many things to be nerfed inside of Valorant for being unbalanced. The Bucky, nerfed. The Stinger, nerfed. Jett, nerfed and nerfed. Yet Valorant's latest agent seems to break the game in another way. A one-of-a-kind character with an ultimate that changes the game forever. Now that he's been out for a while, let's see if ISO is broken. Let's start with ISO's more standard utility, contingency and undercut. Contingency is very similar to Harbor's Cascade. It creates a fast-moving wall for cover. However, different to the Cascade, it falls down after moving. Undercut could be argued to be ISO's most useful ability, sending an invulnerability bolt through a wall like an Omen Flash. His signature ability is one of the most interesting abilities in the game. Upon getting a kill, an orb appears. Once shot, it gives you a shield, which will tank 1 HP of damage, from one molly tick up to an AWP shot. His ult, as said before, changes the game forever. Unlike many ults in the game, it can't really be aided by a teammate's utility, because it puts you in a 1v1 with the nearest player. It also suppresses both of you. And if you win the 1v1, you can get a shield. Contingency and undercut have a different type of impact compared to other duelist utility, allowing the team to take space easily and quickly. Contingency can mainly be used for splitting up fights and taking space. On attack, it can be used to take key bits of map control, for example here on A Long Haven, and for taking site. On defense, it can be used to fight for map control. Combined with other utility, it can be a strong tool for this. For example here, to counter the A lobby control. Undercut can be used in many different scenarios. Early round control, rotation to help teammates, also to be used in both executing a site and retakes. Combined with damage utility such as raise nades and Sova shock darts, it can be really effective. If you already have double tap shield activated, it's very strong against an AWP, allowing you to fully swing without the risk of getting one shot. For me, his ult can be used as a zoning tool. Executing against a sentinel allows you to take them out of the action and suppress their utility, so your teammates can push onto site. A 2v1 retake becomes easily winnable with his ult. Clutches can virtually become impossible if you know where the location of the enemy is, no matter if ISO wins the 1v1 or not, because you can just kill him after he comes back. Where ISO runs into problems is when diving into site. The current meta of the game, and possibly the game of Valorant itself, heavily favours duelists have the ability to dive into site fast, the best of which are Jett and Raze. This leaves ISO in a weird spot. Much like Reyna, ISO does not have the ability to put fast pressure on the defending players, and requires you to get a kill to allow for better space creation. For example, with Reyna and ISO's signature abilities, where both agents are heavily momentum based for impact. Not getting kills equals a lot less impact, whereas Jett and Raze can create space without having to necessarily get kills. They just have to get traded. Combined with the fact that they can capitalize off initiate abilities, means that Jett and Raze are far superior on attack when it comes to executing sites. In play, ISO and Reyna have some very similar playstyles. They both are heavily momentum based, heavily mechanics based, may require a slower lurk playstyle, and are hard to play as a single duelist. However, some would argue that Reyna's signature is better than ISO's. On defense, the use of the E alone could be enough to sway someone to play Reyna over ISO.
Up, up, up. I'm telling you right now, that orb is a terrible mechanic. Because would I rather have an orb or would I rather have a ability to just instantly get away? Like Arena.
Double tap does not give you the ability to get one and get out, whereas the Reyna E does, which lends to ISO having a very hard time on defense. On attack, you can choose your aim duels more easily. On defense, it's a lot harder. So chaining kills whilst trying to shoot the orbs can be detrimental. So it requires teammate support in order to make this easier, such as stuns and flashes, which allow ISO to isolate kills. In short, Reyna is better at anchoring. ISO and Reyna do both revolve around mechanics. However, the things that surround ISO's ult are far superior than those that are adjacent to Reyna's ult. As a single duelist, ISO will be very hard, so I predict if he is played in pro play, it will be in a double duelist comp. The maps that suit it the best. ISO will probably be used as more of an initiated duelist for trading the dive duelist, such as Jett and Raze, in order to make the double tap more viable and easier to get. It's hard to predict how the meta will shift in the upcoming months up to VCT, but I feel the dive will still be just as strong. Compared to the dive duelist as well, ISO is not super versatile when it comes to his map pool, yet a map like Haven really suits his kit. It's hard to see what changes ISO will have, as he is more suited to the casual player, and not everything has to revolve around pro play. An incredibly interesting agent, and may set the precedent for how Riot will move on forward in creating some wacky agents. At the beginning of the video, I asked a question. Is ISO broken? Well, no and yes. On the one hand, the actual impact that ISO has in game is not as strong as many other duelists, and even Reyna in many cases. However, on the other hand, yes, he is broken. You see, Riot are constantly in a careful balancing act between appealing to both the casual competitive fans and the pro scene. The last three agents, Gecko, Deadlock, and ISO, have not really appealed to that last demographic. These agents at the moment, and throughout the year, have seen little pro play due to the other agents in their class providing a lot more impact. ISO especially further reiterates the use of dive duelists. You see, Valorant is now in this tricky position. Do they appeal to the casual competitive base and add more unorthodox agents with crazy abilities that may or may not have a strong impact when it comes to pro play? Or do they stick to what is tried and tested to work in a game like Valorant? One could lead to the game becoming clustered, and the other may lead to the game becoming stale. That's what ISO does. ISO himself is not broken, but ISO could lead to Valorant becoming broken. It's up to Riot to see if they can find the solution, and I hope they do.